Hello, my name is Marcus, and welcome to 5 games I've played. Just recorded a different place, just for fun. Just got back from chasing down my dog. He got out the gate, so got real nice and wet. Anyways, this is part 25 of 5 games I've played, so that means we're at 120 games? No, 125. Yeah, 125 games. Let's just get going. So the first one is Planet. This is a game where you have a little thing that's going to turn into a planet, and it uses magnets to place these tiles on board, which are hexagonal tiles, and they sort of match up in different ways. You know, waters and tundras and mountains, desert and forest. I think those are the 5. And you're trying to match them up, and then there's some animals that have some criteria right now. Like some wants to be in water that is next to forest, some wants to be in forest that doesn't go near deserts, all these kind of things, and you're just trying to get in as many animals as possible. And then you have some specific goals on a goals card that you have, where it's like, you know, most blue, as many blue markers, triangles as possible, many greens, as many yellow, whatever. Which is obviously forest, water, and desert, and it's fine. It's a fine little world building thing. But if it was without this cube and you had a board and you're trying to make things on that board, maybe I would like it a little more. I mean, it's just this cube is stupid to have, and the goal is like totally random. Most of them won't fit together. It's not great. I mean, I give it a 4 out of 10. I would probably play it again. If my wife insisted, it's our game. But not too crazy about it. Next up is a game that me and 3 of my friends bought together. Heroes of Might and Magic 3, the board game. Now, Heroes of Might and Magic 3. It's apparently very important that it's 3. I didn't know this, but my mates say it's very important that it's the 3rd one. And that's apparently, it's a board video game that was a bit older than I thought. I thought it was from the mid-2000s, but it's apparently from the 90s, so it's a bit older than I thought. But it's a massively popular game, and they made a board game out of it. And I always find it funny when it's Heroes of Might and Magic 3, the board game. But they say it's very important that it's the 3rd one, because that's apparently the best one. Personally, I haven't played the video game, but we did play a bit of the board game, and so far I'm not overly enthusiastic about it. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10, and the reason I'm giving it a 5 out of 10 is because I don't believe I've played it enough to really have seen the best side of it. I'm not overly impressed right now. I think there's a lot of things, like you have a grid where you start at a place, and you have some place that's already added in, which are mysterious, like that flipped over, so you don't know what it is. And you have some in your hand, some more grids on your hand that you can place down to sort of create the map. And then you're trying to go around, and you do a whole bunch of things, but basically only like one of the things you do scores points. And I'm not too happy about that, because when we played this game, it just so happened that 3 of the point-giving things was like very close to one of the dudes, which is just, you know, happenstance. That's how you shuffle the tiles out. It could have just as easily been me, but instead you have these 3 quite close to him, 1 quite close to me, and then 1 here in between me and another opponent that we of course both go to, and unfortunately he ends up winning. But that's luck part of it I didn't like. But that is just one way of playing the game, I've heard. So we are going to have to play some of the other versions, and then I can say, okay, this is the worst version, I don't like this one, but the cooperative one, ooh, that's good. Something like that. Like, I'm giving it a 5 out of 10 right now, because that main thing, which is apparently like the main way to play, just doesn't seem very good. I like the way that attacks work. The way you have to move your characters around and they hit, and then maybe there's a counter hit as well, and this kind of back and forth. What is he doing now? Whatever. The combat I really like. Also just the flipping all these tiles to reveal the areas I also really like. The thing that really drags it down is the point scoring thing. But again, we'll have to check out some of the other game modes. Apparently there's 3 game modes, and we've only really played the 1. So maybe it's unfair for me to talk about it right now. I will do another one where I upgrade it. Next up is Path of Civilization. Now this one and the other one that comes after this one, they're very similar. I find it difficult to choose between them. They're good games. I enjoy them. They are sort of engine building / deck building. Sort of similar in that vein. In Path of Civilization, you are trying to get a bunch of cards in different colors, but they start like the Stone Age, and then go to one of them is a nuclear weapon, which me and my good mate, we are very obsessed at some point achieving that. We have yet to do it, but we want to. But then as you evolve into each of these directions, buy a card from that one, you of course also going to get more stuff. Like when you buy from down here, you also get a worker, whatever. I can't remember what they're called, but it's a human thing which is used to purchase leader things, like historical figures. But the further up you get, you may get 2 of those and 2 population or whatever. It gets better and better the further you get, making it easier. Deck engine building. You get how engine building works. And overall, I really do like it. I think it drags a little bit. Like it's just a couple of rounds a little bit too long. And I think maybe some of the cards you purchase, like the famous historical figures and the famous historical buildings, I think there was needing for some tweaking to some of those. There was something that didn't quite work out for me with those. Maybe we just unlucky about the ones we've drawn out at this point we draw them out. That can of course be a thing. But there was just a little bit tweaking to that one maybe. But other than that, I do enjoy the game. I would absolutely play it again with them. 7 out of 10 is what I'm giving this one. I'm also giving the next game at 7 out of 10. It's also sort of this engine building, deck building game. It's called Living Forest. And in Living Forest, you get a deck to start off with, and it's also push your luck, as you can just flip over cards from this deck. But if you get a certain amount of a certain symbol, well, you crash out and you only get to do 1 action. Opposite, if you just choose to stop, you get to do 2 actions. And of course, you purchase some cards to add into this one to make it better and better and better. But you also have a little grid of trees, and every tree you buy does add something. Like I managed to get a bunch of trees that gave me some water, so I could constantly put out fire. That's one way to get to a point scoring, is by putting out fire. Also by having a bunch of different trees, or by getting some flowers from the cards. I'll get into those winning conditions in just a bit. But it tries to use every element, right? There's water to put out the fire. You have the earth to grow trees from. You have wind to move around in a NASCAR ring to try and overtake other people, because then you get to steal stuff from them. Yeah, that part feels very much like we need to have a way of adding in wind. I don't overly like that part. It feels a little bit too random, and yeah, I'm not overly happy about that part of the game, this NASCAR ring you're going around in. And then you have the sun, which is how you purchase new animals to get into your deck, those are the cards that give you a bunch of symbols. And what I really like about the game is that you can go down very different paths. Throughout the entire game, I bought 1 card, and I was second, and I was easily second. Well, almost easily second. You had another guy who purchased a bunch of cards. Like at some point he was just like, I have 20 to purchase from. And we're just in there, okay, crazy. And he just buys 5 cards in 1 turn. And he gets pretty close to a flower victory. I was very close to a fire victory and decently close to a tree victory. And then on the mate, I didn't quite follow along how many flowers he had, but he was decently coming along with trees and a little bit on fire as well. And then there's the one who won on fire. Of the 3 games that have been played, fire has won it all 3 times. And that's the big thing I want to complain about. There is an, what's it called? It's not equal in terms of winning. Winning by fire is a lot easier. Because here's the thing. When you purchase a tree, you purchase 1 tree. Like even if you have 7 to buy from, you can buy a 3 and a 4. You buy 1 tree every turn. Then sure, there is an upgraded tree that costs 11 that makes you able to buy 2 trees in 1 turn, but that's using both of your actions for that turn, right? So it's not like the rule is you can only use 1 action once as one of your actions. They have to be 2 different, right? Trees and purchasing cards or whatever. You can't do the same action twice. This tree allows you to do that. So now you can get 2 trees in 1 turn, but 11 tree to get 11 to purchase from in the trees is kind of difficult. I only ever managed 10, and that was the highest we got to, and like I really went for it. Then you have purchasing the cards. That's where you get the flower victory. Oh, it should be said, all of them you get 12. If you get 12 different trees, 12 flowers, 12 fire, you win. And of course the trees, you can just buy 1 per turn. unless you manipulate a few things, then you might be able to buy 2. But as a baseline, you are able to buy 1 per turn. The flowers, you're allowed to buy as many cards as you want. So if you are able to buy 2 cards that combined have 3 flowers on them, one action just got you 3 steps closer to the victory, whilst the tree is just 1 step. You can even buy a tree that has 2 flowers on it. So it's 1 step on a tree victory, but 2 steps on a flower victory. And then you have the fire. We've had turns where we put out 4 flames at once because we got so much water. We just put out as many as possible. So we put out 4 flames, right? That's 4 steps to victory. If you are lucky in the purchasing of cards, usually the ones with a lot of flowers on them are quite expensive. So you will probably buy 2, 3 at most. In the fire ones, it's not unrealistic. You can get 4, 5, 6 flames halfway to victory in 1 turn. It of course takes building up, but it is completely imbalanced. Like, the trees will take you many turns to get to. You start off with 2 trees, of course, the one in your starting area, your little starting thing, whatever. So you just need 10 more trees. That's difficult to achieve when there's only like 12 different ones from that part. So the trees is so difficult to achieve, and it's so imbalanced in that aspect. The flowers is also quite difficult because it's more based on luck. You can purchase a couple at a time, but if you don't draw them up at the same time, it doesn't work. But then you have the fires. The fire is so much easier. The fire comes out every single turn. As long as you purchase the card, there's more fire to take. Getting a bunch of water is fairly easy. It's basically on all the cards, and getting a couple of trees with water on it is fairly easy. And then you can put out, like, I was sitting at a point where even without getting out cards, because the water I had from my trees, I could put out 3 flames just by those. And if I dropped like 2 cards of water on it, well, I just got 1 more. So the fire one it's no wonder it's been the only victory condition met so far. It's so much easier. That is a complete and utter imbalance in how to win the game. When you look at that, they might as well just say, and I think it's easy to fix. You need some from everything. Maybe the rule is 12 flames, 5 different trees, and 6 flowers, or whatever. Something along that line, right? To make it balanced. Or you just say, it's 10 different trees, you need 15 flowers, and you need 20 flames. Something, to balance it out. There's just a complete lack of balance in that. So that really drags it down. But it's still 7 out of 10. I do enjoy it. Like, it's the victory condition imbalanced, but the entire game itself, I love building the grid of these trees and trying to make it work with the deck that I'm not really building. Like, I was surprised, like, I've only bought 1 game card and I'm this close to win. Like, my opponent who won did something which made her win that turn. If she hadn't been able to do that, which she was, but if she wasn't, I would have gotten very close to victory that turn, and then the next turn I might even have won it. Of course she did win it, but to do that with only purchasing 1 card, being so close to a victory, I think that's pretty cool. Anyways, we need to get on to the 5th game, which is Wavelength. So Wavelengths is a game where you rotate this thing around, and then there is one with 4 points on, no, 3 points, 3 or 4 points, and then you have 2 and 1 point on it, and it like goes all the way over here or all the way over here, and you get a card that maybe says over here is Marvel Comics and over here is DC Comics. So now you have to say, if the card is here, what do you say, right? Like what makes you think this, is a little bit more DC than it is Marvel, but not a lot. You wouldn't say Batman, that's all the way. You wouldn't say Iron Man, that's all the way over here. So what is like here? And you're trying to hint to your friends. And the more points you score as a team, 2 teams fighting against each other. The first team to, was it 10 or 20 points? 10 or 20 points. The first team to that wins. There's also one where you all play together cooperatively, switching around with being the one that takes out a card and says, whatever it says on it, and then you're trying to achieve X amount of points with X amount of cards. I can't fully remember how many it is. But it's a very fun game. Again, some of the categories are of course a little bit lame, but a lot of them are funny, and especially if you've got some in-jokes for it, it's really funny. So yeah, it's quickly becoming one of my favorite party games to have. It's I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. A 9 out of 10. Sorry, one second, I'm getting distracted here. Yeah. Sorry, 1 second. It gets a 9 out of 10. Fucking hell, where was I? Right, it gets a 9 out of 10. Being one of the highest rated here. One of the highest rated I've ever had on 5 games I've played. I think 7 is probably the most represented number on here. And 9 is very, very lesser represented here in here. I'm trying to look just to see how many other 9 out of 10s there's been. 8, 7, 7, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 6. This is only the third 9 out of 10 that's ever been on this one. Usually I do a review for 9 out of 10s. But yeah, that means that part 25 is a 6.4 average, putting it a little bit high, but towards the middle. But still sort of towards the middle, yeah. I think I've done something correctly. Sorry, I just noted over here, this is a 4, 5, 7, 7, 9, but over here we have a 4, 5, 5, 5, 8, and that's also 6.4, so maybe I've done some math incorrectly. It just feels wrong. Anyways, it's not the highest and far from the lowest. Yeah, a couple of good games in there. Some of them I will definitely play more. I mean, Heroes of Might and Magic. You need to check out the rest of the game, and maybe it turns out to be really great with the cooperative version or something. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this one from a different view, a different setting. Just a little bit of fun for myself at least. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next one. Bye!